Let me tell you what's really going to happen when you start setting boundaries. The people who benefited from the version of you that had no boundaries, they are going to get angry. Some of them are even going to get incredibly defensive. And they're going to try to convince you that you are the problem, that you change, that you're cold. And the big one is that you're cutting people off. When in reality, you stop giving them access to your time, you stop giving them access to your energy and your heart, and everything you used to give without limits. That was never love, my friends. That was overextension. And we're not doing that anymore. My friends, that's not you being cold. That's you finally choosing yourself. Let's talk about that. Hey, it's Dyra, and if you've ever felt guilty for choosing yourself over chaos, this conversation is for you. Because there's a huge difference between setting boundaries, protecting your peace, and cutting people off. But here's the truth. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries, they're not going to like either one of them. In fact, they're going to get angry, they're going to get defensive because your growth changes their axis. Boundaries are not about controlling other people. They're about controlling your axis, your energy, and your participation. Instead of over-explaining, you say, I'm not engaging in that conversation. I'm not available for that dynamic. I'm not explaining myself over and over and over again. You're not trying to change them. You're changing you. The old you explains, the old you defended, and the old you tried to be understood. But the new you just say, I'm not having this conversation. Because at some point, you realize that it's really just a waste of your energy. You just don't respond. And it's not because you're cold, but because you're no longer available for that energy. At some point, you realize, I'm not here to babysit grown-ass adults. I'm not managing their emotions. I'm not shrinking just to keep the peace. That version of you, she was tired. Cutting someone off seems simple. There's no access, no communication, no relationship. And my friends, sometimes that is necessary. Boundaries say, I can stay, but only in a healthy way. Cutting someone off says, I can't stay and remain healthy. Both are valid. Now let's talk about something people don't say out loud. Why do people say you're cutting them off when you're just actually setting boundaries, when you're actually just protecting your peace? Because that sounds a lot better than telling the truth. And the truth is, they don't like losing access to your time. They don't want to lose access to your energy. And sometimes they don't like losing access to your attention. But what I find the biggest one is to be, they don't want to lose access to your reactions. Because let's be real, there are people who were used to saying whatever they wanted to you, crossing your boundaries, pushing your buttons, getting a reaction out of you. And you're still staying, you're still explaining, and you're still showing up. And now you don't react the same. You don't engage the same. You don't give them what they used to get from you. So what do? They call it, you're cutting me off. No, my friends, you're just not available to be disrespected anymore. And I'm going to say that again. You're not cutting them off. You're not available to be disrespected anymore. You're not available for emotional chaos anymore. You're not available to keep playing a role that costs you your peace. And that's the part they don't like. Because boundaries don't hurt healthy people. They expose unhealthy dynamics. So when you start to feel that guilt, when you start questioning yourself, because the guilt's gonna come in. When you're processing things, the guilt will come in and you start asking yourself, am I being too harsh? Am I the problem? Am I too sensitive? No, you're not. You're just no longer abandoning yourself to keep other people comfortable. And at some point you ask yourself, can I stay and still become who I meant to be? If the answer is no, distance follows. You've changed, good, because growth will always feel like a rejection to people who benefited from your old self. If this hits you, if something in you felt seen or honestly a little called out, it's probably because you've been carrying something that was never yours to carry to begin with. Maybe you've been the one who holds everything together, the one who over-explains, the one who keeps the peace, the one who gets labeled too much, too sensitive, or somehow the problem. And I need you to hear this. You were never the problem. You were the one trying to survive in a dynamic that didn't know how to see you. So I created something for you. It's called You're Not the Problem, Healing from Toxic Family Dynamics. It's going to help you start seeing clearly what you've been feeling for a long time. The link is in the description below. And if you're at that place where you're like, I don't just want to understand this, I want to actually move through this, then I invite you to book a free clarity call with me. This is a space where you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to prove anything. You just get to be honest about where you are and where you want to go. And we figure it out together. Because my friends, you don't have to carry this alone anymore. You're not cutting people off. You're cutting yourself free. And you deserve peace, happiness, and freedom. And to live the life you've always meant to live and be unapologetically you. All right, my friends, until next time, bye.